What is a very specific pet peeve you have? When you're arguing with someone and the person takes whatever you are saying to them to the extreme. Like if you say, "Hey, can you not move my shoes from beside the couch?" And the person's like, "I will never touch anything of yours ever again." Whenever people try to spell definitely as defiantly. When people leave their shopping carts in the middle of the aisle instead of putting them to the side of the aisle. Volume has to be set to an even number. When people complain about something they can easily fix. Like when it's 20 degrees Fahrenheit outside and they're not wearing a jacket. Then complain that they're cold. When someone tries food off my plate without asking, I would definitely let them try it if they just ask first. People who respond with "who hurt you?" It just pisses me off. People misusing hashtags from unrelated events on Instagram. Pacific instead of specific. That drives me fucking insane. When I'm in the shower and the curtain sticks to me. Vocal yawning. It pisses me off. People staring at their phones while I pick up their Slack at work. I hate when I show someone a video and tap the screen to see how much time is left. When people take astrology seriously. People listening to voice messages in public with the external mic. People who say "cool beans." Right double quotation. Unnecessary details and stories. I'll let the first one slide. But after I process a second unnecessary detail, I'm hardly even listening to your story anymore. I'm trying to figure out why you can't stick to a subject. When I had a public-facing job, some people would start a phone conversation with the word "actually." For no reason at all. You'll say hello. They'd start explaining who they were and why they were calling by saying "actually, I'm so and so and I'm calling because." No one's contradicted you. There's no need to say "actually." Time-related inconsistencies in TV shows and movies. Doctor, 1 minute after seeing patient, your DNA results came back and me. Ugh, GTFO. When people say irregardless when trying to make an argument. 1. Not a word. 2. The point is still relevant. You just have no good argument. I don't like when people doink the head of my Dwight Schrute bobblehead figurine. Especially this. People who sing off key. Karaoke is just excruciating. Hearing people talk to their pets like they're babies, even though I do it myself. People typing "your" instead of "your." Right double quotation. When the charger cord is just a bit too short. When nurses place labels on backwards on a blood specimen. It doesn't affect anything once it's on the analyzer and running. But as a lab employee, I'm a little anal retentive. When someone's phone is bigger than their hands. I hate when a guy has a mustache. Beard is fine. Just a mustache I hate cause when they perform on me, it's itchy, distraught face. When people let their toddlers run all over the restaurant, allow them to be a disruption. I'm a planner. I like to look at what I'm doing a day or two in advance. It drives me insane when plans are made, loosely or not, and the other person is forgetful, oblivious about those plans. If you say, "Hey, let's do something after work Friday" to me on, let's say, a Tuesday, that will be in my head until then. I will plan around it thinking that's what I'll be doing Friday after work. So don't look at me like I'm crazy when I get annoyed and agitated because you forgot and made other plans. I have a couple of friends who do this constantly, and I have dated plenty of people who are very nonchalant about their schedules, and it drives me insane. It's inconsiderate and rude. I'd understand if other plans came up, but to completely forget we made plans in the first place only to make new plans is extremely irritating. When a person says that something is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. We went to the Grand Canyon. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. No, it wasn't. You could easily do that another 2 or 3 times in your lifetime. People who whistle. Must you really force yourself upon me while I am deciding between pickles or Funyuns? A close second would be people who sing. Some twit casually mentioned to you in a drunken stupor that you can almost carry a tune, and this gives you the right to torture me. People who back into parking spots and their obscene excuse of it's faster to get out drives me insane. My girlfriend leaves everything open. Doors, cupboards, drawers, her legs, bottles, jars, bags of chips, everything. By crikey if it doesn't grind most of my gears. Gum. The chewer. On sidewalks. Under tables. But most do not chew and yawk to me. People who can't following the simplest instructions. On a similar note. Also people that have to ask for advice for things that could have easily been looked up. I don't mean for significant personal life things. But like simple crap like where the closest supermarket is. Or directions. Even though they're probably literally on the phone as they ask. When my wife talks to me through my child. Daddy is going to put you to bed now. Indecisiveness where you pick one then the other but change your mind and so forth. When people walk on the wrong side of me. I like to walk on the right side of people. Not the left. And it drives me nuts when people always shift to the right when we walk together. If something is centered, it needs to be centered. And don't mess with the kerning to make it centered if you messed up the placement. Better to have it intended to be obviously off center than to try and fail to center something. When my co-workers ask me when I'm taking my lunch and for how long. I hate that question. I get asked it the moment I want in the door and it pisses me off. People stretching out verses in songs to try to sound cool. Once I was in a play, 4th grade, a few days ago, and this kid stretched out a line. And it sounded so off that I nearly vomited. Not even kidding. People handing me things. Only my wife may do that. People that use the phrase over under when they really mean odds. Apostrophe. People chewing too loud. Keep the same font for a slideshow presentation you use. And keep titles and paragraphs in the same area. And it has to be perfect. When people are feeling hot cold and they in turn start telling me what to wear according to how hot cold they feel. Eating with someone who chews loudly with an open mouth. The worst. When the volume on a radio, TV, etc. is not a multiple of 5. I know. It's really stupid. When people leave cabinets or closet doors open. Seriously, it's an accident waiting to happen. The Mercator and Gall-Peters map projections. When people say one thing but mean another. When people change the volume to a TV and they have it at like 11, 12, 13, 14 etc. Even if it's the perfect volume, IDC, it has to be 10, 15, 20 or something like that. Zeros or 5s. People who type its instead of its. Apostrophe. I hate being woken up by a person. People who use their astrology sign moons to justify their actions. X. Saturn is affecting my mood, you're Gemini. That explains it. When I say good morning to my co-workers and they respond with, "What's so good about it, you know what? How about you piss off and die in a fire? How about that for a good morning?" When students pick up staples and torn pieces of paper and interrupt lessons to ask what to do with them.